show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live. It's America's longest running talk show on computers. It's Computer America, bringing you the biggest names in technology with guest interviews, new products, and your emails. Listen live at computeramerica.com on any device around the world. Email the show at live@computeramerica.com or find us on social media. Be sure to check out our website for contests, giveaways, show notes, live video stream, podcasts, and more. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope all of you are having a great day, and we can make it a little bit better with Computer America. So, for today's show, for all of you veterans, well, you know exactly who is on, and for all of you newcomers, anyone out there who maybe has been listening sporadically, well, you sporadically tuned into one of our best shows that we have here every single month at the end of the month, last Wednesday, if you want to mark your calendars. We have Dick DeBartolo himself, Mad Magazine's Maddest writer, the Giz Wiz, and a slew of other titles, joining us to talk all about a bunch of different gadgets that he finds at, really everywhere, from Amazon to just everyday places to, to trade shows. It's a lot of fun. Happy to have him on here. But before we get to him, though, I need to mention a few things, including computeramerica.com. That is where you will find everything, including the show notes, which are super, super important. And really, it's just mainly right now a link to, to Dick's site, where he really compiles everything, does a nice little write-up, a review, tells you the price, shows you where to find it for the cheapest price. I mean, it's really a great, resource to have. So check that out at gizwiz.biz. And while you're over at computeramerica.com, though, check out the video portion where you can watch Computer America, not just listen. It's another great thing to do, and, it's something that we're working on improving all the time, and we like it. And the last thing is, of course, our social media contest, which, partnering with Logitech, we're giving away an M720 Triathlon mouse every single Friday. And hey, we may just read your name live on the air if you so enter, because hey, you could win. All right, so all of that being said, we are going to now jump over to, once again, our guest, Dick DeBartolo. Dick, thank you for joining us.
Fun to be here, and I have some fun stuff, and we'll all have a fun time. Yeah, no, looking forward to it. You always find a bunch of great gadgets, and yeah, but before we get into that, how was your month? How you doing? I checked out your last episode of GizWiz.tv, or and that kind of thing with Chad, with OMG Chad. It was great. Oh, great! Yeah. I also repowered my boat, so that's fun. I bought a new Yamaha engine. Oh wow! Yeah. So new hamsters. That's awesome. I can buzz up and down the Hudson River quickly. And also had a fun thing up at Mad Magazine yesterday. Do you know who Lin-Manuel Miranda is? I am going to Google them, and I will find out. And I'm probably gonna know them, but I need to see a face. So okay. Well, Miranda. Yeah. He is a world famous person who wrote, produced, and starred in Hamilton on Broadway. And turned out that he is a huge Mad fan. And out of the blue one day, the editor of Mad came running in and said, "Did you see what Lin-Manuel Miranda put on Twitter?" And I said, "No, but I'll go there now." And he had tweeted, "As long as Dick DeBartolo is writing for Mad Magazine, all will be well." That is high praise. I know, and I emailed back and I said, "Oh my, you made my day, you made my month, you made my year." And he tweeted back, "Well, you made my childhood. I've been a fan forever." Anyway, we emailed back and forth, and I said, "If you ever want to come visit Mad," and he came up yesterday and spent an hour up there. We had just an incredible time. Now, has Mad ever riffed on Hamilton? Because that show is like crazy popular. Yes, exactly. And one of the reasons that our art director said, "Oh my gosh, if you can get him to come up here, make sure I'm here," because Sam had done a big poster, a Hamilton poster with Lynn in the center of it. And when Lynn came in, he told Sam said, "You know, I did that picture." And Lynn said, "Well, it's framed on my wall." So
that is awesome.
Yeah, it was great. We had a super time.
Yeah, no, and it's great to hear that, you know, Mad Magazine's still kicking, and yeah, it's now.
Well, Mad Magazine is changing. You have a minute for you to tell you what's going on?
Sure, absolutely, go for it.
Okay, Mad Magazine is moving to Burbank, California, and in a strange way, no one from Mad is moving with it because everybody there is a native New Yorker. And by everybody, Mad is only 7 people. The entire magazine is freelanced. So that was one of the reasons that Lynn came up, is everything that we have display cases, and we have original art. And long before the end of the year, all of that stuff is going to be shipped out. And so when I told Lynn that, he said, "I'm coming right up. I'll be there on Tuesday." So right now, it will not affect me because, you know, as a writer, I can write anywhere in the country.
Right.
Most of the artists are all over the country and indeed the world. One of our artists contributes from Paris every couple of months. But there's been a lot of stuff on all 3 social media networks. Is Mad going out of business? What's going on with Mad? I personally got a ton of emails. As far as I know, they've told me that I will continue when the new staff takes over January 1st, 2018. So I'm just passing that on.
All right. No, it's at this point, Mad is intergenerational. It is, you know, long going, and you know, this move, it's something that, you know, companies sometimes do. I mean, we recently moved from Florida to North Carolina. It's not the worst thing in the world, but you know, change happens. So, he's right. Lynn is completely right. As long as you're still writing, I'm sure there's something that we can actually absolutely check out. But yeah, Mad Magazine, check that out, obviously. But you're here for techs and gadgets,
and techie things.
Yeah, and gizmos and whatnot. And you have a huge list of them. So one more time, everyone, gizwiz.biz over on the right, non-paid computer or Lackey Fun over on Computer America. And it has everything that we're going to talk about here today. Links and pictures and even videos. Check that out. But why don't we start with obviously the first one? Where better to start than the first one?
Yes. Okay, so these are 3 things from Pepcom. Their end of spring event was just last week. And so 3 gadgets. Well, and they're 3 different kind of gadgets. No Bluetooth speakers, no external battery charges. So the first thing is called the Oakley Blink. Blink spelled BLINC. So this is a personal safety system that has 4 cameras in it. So it has cameras out the side, a camera that faces up, a camera that faces down. And as you travel, you hit the button to start it, and it is always recording as you're walking. If it also has sensors in it, so if it senses that someone has hit you or you've fallen or anything like that, it instantly freezes 30 seconds of video when that happened and sends that to the cloud. So there's a record of what has happened. At night, when you take it off and charge it, I think the guy said it was 9.5 hours of battery power. At night, when you put it on the dresser charging, it becomes a sound and motion detector. So in a hotel room or something like that, if someone enters the room, it can also sound off an alarm because it can detect the motion. So I thought it was a very interesting idea. It's right now there's an introductory price. It's $249, but there's a $50 rebate, or a $50, I think, instant rebate. So it's basically selling for just a little bit under $200.
It's I mean, obviously with things like body cameras for police officers, they are really starting to catch on. And the idea that you can have record of when you're out and about. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, I think the news hypes up a lot of this, and I think that abductions and murders and things like that are really at an all-time low rather than a high. But having that sense of security, having that sense of safety, really important. Did you kind of get a sense for who this is for? Maybe for hikers or for joggers?
They were talking mainly, I think in most of the videos, it seemed to be women in the videos because they could possibly be the most vulnerable, and college students. So I think it's just aimed at anybody who's out there and around. And I guess especially people who are going around at night or in a neighborhood they're not familiar with.
Right.
And then if you're a businessman, it's something they do have monthly programs where I think they will save all your video if you need it for some reason. So, but for the $199, I believe that uploading the 30 seconds of video when it's triggered is included in the price.
Okay. No, that answered my second question. So where does the video go? And obviously they have their own servers. So, all right, not too bad, not too bad. $200, and obviously you found this at PepCom in New York. So,
PepCom New York.
Yep, pretty big trade show. They're going to have a lot of different things. So that's why we are going to head from motion sensors and security and safety right on over to printing and 3D printing.
Monoprice, if you're a geek, you've been over at the Monoprice website. They have like the Best Buy on cables and stuff. So they were introducing at PepCom their MP Select Mini 3D Printer version 2. So this is a little guy. It can print. The print bed is 4.7 inches square, and you can also print 4.7 inches high. It has a digital LED screen, an IVS screen. This one can print from a micro SD card, can print via Wi-Fi, can print via USB, so that you can print right away. They include an SD card with several 3D little gadgets and filament. So you take it out of the box. There's one step to do, is just to make sure that the print tray is still level. And then you can start printing right away. And the amazing thing is that it is selling for $219.
We have come such a long way so fast with 3D printers. I remember when the first one came out, it was like the MakerBot for like $1,000, $1,500.
Yes.
We've come a long way.
Yes, I remember doing a report from the 3D printer show at the Javits Center probably 4 years ago saying, believe it or not, the first under $1,000 printer is here.
Yeah.
Well, now Monoprice said, well, if you can wait a couple months, in August, we are coming out with our $149 3D printer. And that, the guy said, you don't even have to worry about leveling the print plate because we found out a way to calibrate everything, set it up in the box. So you open the box, put it on the table or wherever it's going to go, and start 3D printing. So it's amazing. It's just amazing where 3D printing has as you said, has come from thousands to less than $150.
Yeah, so something that you can easily, kind of impulse purchase, or something that maybe for a gift for someone or for yourself. It's really gotten down there.
Do you have one? Do you have a 3D printer? You said you do, right?
I do not. I have.
You do. Okay.
I've played with one. There's one at the local library around here that I like to go down and fiddle with and print things off. But it's something that I have yet to really make the plunge on. The biggest thing is, what am I going to use it for? Because
me too.
Yeah,
I'm thinking, I can afford $150 when that comes out, and I'm thinking, where? I live in a small apartment. I have gadgets floor to ceiling. I'm thinking, A, where can I put it? And B, what can I print? I have nothing to print.
Right. Well, we were just watching the video that you had up there of it, and it looked like they were printing some kind of like bowl.
Yes, they were printing some sort of a vase. I think it was going to end up being a small vase. But I can't give up that much space to print a small vase, since I don't even have a use for a small vase.
Right.
But someday,
it's one of those things that the sharing community, you know, the people who like to upload plants to, you know, actually this was one of the big reasons that the Pirate Bay and, you know, those illegal torrenting sites, or at least torrenting sites that you can do illegal things on, one of their main purposes was people were designing 3D printing schematics, and you could go on there because it was the best way to download large files, and they were sharing with one another. So even if you don't have the, you know, the inkling or the inclination to design your own 3D printing gadgets and devices, you can just go, you know, they have libraries where you can go and download the plans, and then you can just print them at home. It's getting better of what you can print. It's just, I think it needs to get to that point where, oh, get a 3D printer and you can do XYZ with it. I mean, it's just not there for me yet.
No, or any of us.
Right. So, yeah, 3D printers, but great to see the price come down, and I'm sure it's not the last we'll hear of 3D printers. I'm sure that, you know, next the sub $100 one, and then it's, well, you know, why don't you have one? It's getting to that point. So, but this next one, and I am not a dentist. I am not, you know, any kind of tooth professional, but I will say, flossing. I don't know why it's still a thing, but you have something here that makes it easier or convenient, or I guess you have it here fun. How do you make flossing fun?
Well, this is an interesting gadget. The company's called Floss Time, and this is a little guy. I would say it's probably 3.5 inches in diameter, and it comes with a little, I think it was a 3M sticky thing on the back so it sticks onto the bathroom mirror, and you hit the front of it, and it automatically puts out 18 inches of floss and cuts it off. And the gentleman there said that that's the ADA recommendation for how much floss. And then you floss for 90 seconds. And as you're flossing, the 4 LED lights, actually just 2 lights light up along the bottom. So it looks like a smile. And when the second block of LED lights up and you see the bottom half semicircle light, that means your 90 seconds are up and you have flossed for the day. And then after a while, it shuts itself off and goes to orange and starts over again after 22 hours because you floss once a day as opposed to brushing. And what I thought was very clever is they make a clip-on little animal characters for kids. They make a frog and a goldfish and a crab that snaps on the front of the real time. And if you haven't flossed in 24 hours, the frog or goldfish's eyes are yellow, orangey, like glaring at you. And then after you floss, they turn to blue, so you have blue eyes. And I think it probably is a good way to get kids into flossing. I have become a flossing person after, like last year, I went to the dentist and the dental hygienist said, you have to come in every 2 months for teeth cleaning because your teeth are terrible and you're not flossing. And
that's a motivation. Yeah.
It was a motivation. And so she gave me some little flossing brushes.
Oh, the little picks with the thing?
Yes. Tiny little ones that were very fine, which I found were way better than the ones I'd gotten at the drugstore that were, anyway.
Yeah.
And I found that if I left them next to the TV, well, during the commercials, I floss. So when I went back after 2 months, I actually put it off for 4 months because I wanted to make sure I was flossing a lot. She went back and she said, oh, this is good. Now you don't have to come back for 6 months because your teeth have changed a lot. So
habits are important, right?
Yes. So flossing is important. And there's the old dentist joke, Doc, do I have to floss all my teeth? And the dentist says, just the ones you want to keep. So,
wait. I have something for this. There we go. All right, you probably didn't hear it, but rim shots. So,
okay, I didn't hear.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So, it's very, very true, and obviously because they're kind of aiming it at kids as well. I mean, it's all about that habit, and you know, just having it stuck to your mirror, having it stuck in plain sight instead of, you know, stuff inside a drawer or medicine cabinet. Maybe just that little bit of extra, hey, you know, there's floss there, I should floss.
Yeah.
Just that little
bit. And also the fact that you just hit it, and because sometimes floss is a pain. You don't when you cut it, you know, at the top of those containers, the floss like unwinds.
Yeah, phrase.
And then you have to use your thumb to try and get it started again. This is an easy way. Hit the front of that thing, 18 inches comes out, it gets cut off. Right. Yeah, I think it's a very clever idea.
And $40 found on Amazon. Yeah. So not too bad, not too bad. All right, so yeah, that's all three from Pepcom. So now we're gonna move on. So for everyone out there, if you missed the first part of the show, or if you missed any part of any other show, Dick, he is huge into boating because I believe houseboat, right?
So I had a houseboat, and now I have a 23-foot work boat that I keep in the water year round. It's kind of my summer cottage and my winter cottage. Right. Of course, the boat is only 4 blocks from where I live.
Right. So yeah. So you know, huge into boating. That's actually, you know, kind of a novelty. Like when I lived in Florida, I had friends who had boats. I never had a boat, thank goodness. There's that old joke. It's you know, if we're doing old jokes. The best day of your life is the day that you buy the boat, and the second best day is when you sell the boat. It's a lot of work, a lot of maintenance, and I see that you come on the show once in a while with a lot of gadgets aimed to make boat life more convenient, and it looks like you have a few here. So what is this here? Everybody needs a good bucket for cleaning up and storage between cleanings.
Yeah, and this is a very clever idea. It's called the Shore Hold One bucket system. So what this is, it's a 5-gallon bucket. It has a great big, like 1-inch rope handle to carry it with. But the top of the lid of the bucket is padded, so it becomes an additional seat back in the cockpit. By it becoming an additional seat, makes it, you don't have to worry about storing it. In a 5-gallon bucket, if your boat is on the small side, may not fit below in a lot of the little openings on your deck. So this is an easy way to keep it above decks. If you boat in rough water, there's an optional base you can buy so the seat will not roll around. And then inside the bucket is very clever. There are 2 inner sections. One is a lift out container where if you throw wet lines in it, the bottom of that container is a strainer. So while during the week, the water from the lines, if they're wet, drains down to the bottom of the bucket. Below that is another grating with bigger holes, and that stays in there when you wash the boat, so that as you're squeezing out the mop or the sponge, the junk that you picked up from the deck will fall through that grating and stay in the bottom of the bucket. Oh. So as you rinse the mop or the sponge mop, most of the little pieces of pebbles and sand and stuff will be at the very bottom of the bucket, so you don't keep pulling them out and running them over your deck again. I thought it was very cleverly worked out, and the whole system is anywhere from $50 to $60. Everybody has different prices. Some people sell it as the entire system. Some people sell it with just not the bucket seat top, since some people don't need a cover for a bucket. But it's something worth checking out from Shorehold, which is SHURHOLD.
Right. So not the highest tech kind of thing, but something that I guess you felt was, pretty well, thought out and engineered.
I thought it was very clever, and I didn't realize it till I threw some lines in there and went down a few days later and lifted the lines out, and they were dry. And then I saw in the bottom of the bucket that a lot of little pieces of sand and stuff that were in the lines had fallen through. And I thought, this looks like a Mickey Mouse thing, but someone really put some thought into this.
For sure. Having those wet lines, having them mold and just sit there and decay, hey, may even extend the life of your ropes. So very nice. So yeah, and now of course, boating to boating. This next one, you're a fan of this fan. My goodness, Fans. It's one of those things that really I thought the future of fans were going to be those. You see them at Bed Bath & Beyond. Those bladeless fans. Those things just really fizzled out. But you have a fan here, a little bit more on the expensive side, but you like it. So what's this about?
I do. So it's the company's called Caframo, and the fan is called the Sirocco 2, which is quieter and does a few more gyrations than the original fan did. So basically, it's a 7-inch fan, a couple blades. What's nice about it is you can turn it in any direction, 360 degrees. It is super quiet. The thing I like about it a lot is I had a Sirocco fan on my boat before, a Caframo fan rather, and I would often not use it because one time I did use it, left it on for like 10 days and came down and the battery was just about dead. So what's neat about this one is you can use the on-off switch, or you can turn it on for 3, 6, 9, or even 12 hours, and then it will shut off. So that way you don't have to worry about running down the battery. And, it's 12 volts and 24 volts. So this is also good if you have an RV or a trailer or something where you need an additional fan. And then the final thing, which works out great for me on the boat, is on the side of the fan, there's a release lever that you click, and then you can push the fan flat up against the ceiling and then lock it there. So that when I'm eating or sitting down watching TV or something on the boat, I have the fan on and I don't mind that it hangs down in front of the windshield.
Right.
But when I'm traveling on the way and I want complete vision, I just push it up against the ceiling.
Okay, so does not obscure your vision. So very very good. And again, the 3, 6, 9, 12, obviously not going to run into that situation where you forget it for some kind of reason. Well, I guess you could still forget it, but less likely to forget it. So not too bad. And $130. I just checked out the Amazon link. Amazon no longer selling it.
Oh, they're not. Are they out of it?
Yeah, it says they're out of it. They're out of stock. They don't know when they're going to get more.
Okay. Yeah. As of 6/15, it was on Amazon for 95 and change. I'll have to change the link.
Right. Yeah. So of course, Google works wonders, but not too shabby. Not too shabby. All right. So heading on over, another boat gadget, and this is one of those things that I've been putting together a lot of furniture lately. And it's ridiculous how well engineered. At this point, I've put together everything from tables to night.
Oh, are you gone? Ben.
Can you hear me now? Uh-oh.
I can hear you now. Yeah, you vanished for a minute. Okay.
Oh, all right. Yeah. So sorry about that. The connection must be settling out. But yeah. Okay. So, and let me just make sure one thing. Oh yeah, we're good. So yeah. But I was saying that I've been putting together a lot of furniture lately, and they have it engineered to the point where you don't need much more than the tools that come in the box. And the reason I kind of bring this up is that sometimes just really well engineered little pieces can make a huge difference in a lot of projects. So you have one here, and it's the Snap Tool Multi-Key, and it looks like just one of those things.
It is one of those things. We've done a lot of stuff from Night Eyes, key cards that have a lot of tools in them. Well, this has a lot of tools, but it has some specific tools for people with trailers and campers. For example, there are keys that open the gas tank and keys that open the waste tank on a boat or a trailer. This has both those keys. And then it has a zipper pull, a tiny little hook that goes into the end of the zipper, because on boats, over the winter, over the summer, if you happen to be near salt water, the zippers become hard to pull. So this gives you an edge without breaking your fingernails. There's a little thing that slides under the canvas snap, so you can pull the snap open. It's just very cleverly done. And then it has 4 different hex wrenches, a little screwdriver, a little both a slot and a Phillips. And finally, a bottle opener and a mini scraper.
Very, very cool. So, hey, and just real quick, Dick, music means we have to take a break. We'll be right back with more Computer America, and we'll finish up the Snap Tool multi-key. And really, you know, it looks like something that shouldn't work, but looks like it works for just about everything. But hey, we'll be right back. More Computer America just after this.
We are all Brother Wolf. 10 years ago, a group of locals banded together to create positive change. We took animals into our homes, held adoption events at local retailers, and talked to the community about our mission to help build a no-kill Asheville. A decade later, we have achieved so many victories for animals in need. There's been so much progress, yet there's still so much to do. As part of our year-long celebration, we encourage you to become a member of our special Compassionate Circle program. With a monthly donation of $10 or more, you will have behind-the-scenes access to the work we are doing at Brother Wolf. Our goal is to reach 1,000 members because we receive no government funding. Working together, we can help build and sustain no-kill communities. Learn more at compassionatecircle.bwar.org. We are a 501c3 tax-deductible organization.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. It is 31 minutes past the hour as we continue on here with Dick DeBartolo himself. And for anyone just joining us for any reason, if you miss any part of today's show or you want to hear it again, please head on over to computeramerica.com, and we have the video, we have the audio archives, so that you can, hey, you know, check it out again. So with that being said, we were just wrapping up this, right before the break, we were wrapping up the Snap Tool multi-key, which, like you said, has, you know, little things like a Phillips and and a flathead screwdriver kind of heads on them. They have some hex keys, you know, kind of jutting out all over the place, as well as, you know, little sockets and zipper pulls. I mean, yeah, all this is, I guess for, you know, just kind of household work doesn't make too much sense, but for boats, this is probably...
For boats, they're great. Yeah. Boats and trailers, exactly.
So, and this was going for how much again?
At the company, it's $13. It's a bit more on Amazon. When I checked, it was $14.50, but it was free Amazon 2-day shipping.
Gotcha. So
and it's stainless steel, so it's pretty good.
Right, not too bad. Not going to rust on you, and should last you a little, you know, a good long while. Hey, you know, anyone out there looking for gift ideas for boat owners? I think these are not too shabby. So this next one, I will say, like, right off the bat, I have a friend who, again, owns a boat. We used to go deep sea fishing. It was a lot of fun, but he swears by this thing. He has one on every set of keys that he uses for his boats, and, you know, glad that you are bringing attention to it because it's so simple, but it really works.
It does. It's and I've done it a lot. This product has been around for many years, and I did this thing for ABC, and I called the company Davis Instruments. They make both that multi-key that we just talked about, and they make key buoy. And I said, you know what? Can I put a multi-key on a key buoy and throw it in the Hudson River, and will it retrieve it? And they said yes, because the key buoy can lift 2.8 ounces, and our multi-key is 2.5 ounces. So it should be fine. And the video is on my website. We did it for Giz Wiz. And the only thing is, when we threw it in, the tide was changing, and the tide goes out at 7 knots. So we had to put a string on the key buoy, so it would have been 5 blocks away by the time it came up. So we put a string on it just to hold it from floating away, but in 30 seconds the orange end of the little telltale finder popped up, and then it slowly unwound, and it would have been very easy if we were out in the water to reach down and know exactly where the multi-key was, because that big orange flag sticks up as much as 14 inches so that you can retrieve your keys or whatever you have on it. They're one-time use,
right?
But they're $7 to $10, and like you said, your boater friend swears by it, because the last thing in the world you want to do is drop your keys in, especially if you're out in the ocean or a place where you can't retrieve them.
Right. Yeah. And they have these, these little keychains that are foam and they float and that kind of thing, but they don't stick up. They're pretty hard to spot in open water.
Yes, that a lot of people have made that comment, that your keys will be floating, but if there any kind of wind and there's any kind of little waves, lots of luck trying to find where your keys are. This you will know, because it sticks up a lot.
Right. Very, very cool. So, and yeah, not too bad. One-time use, but have half a dozen stored away and you should be good to go. So pretty darn good. So this next one, it seems like a simple idea. I can't believe I've never seen it before. This looks like a nightlight mixed with a switch.
It's very clever. The one that I bought is called the Aid and Prep battery operated lights. Not quite sure where they came up with that, but it's an on-off switch, just like the on-off switch you use to turn on and off pretty much any light in your house. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, the light is built into the switch, and I bought two different versions of it. One has very, very bright LEDs. They're called let's see, chip on board. Oh, carb lights. They're carb LEDs, which are very bright. And the carb LED light is really great for like inside a closet. You just flip it on, get what you want out of the closet, and then flip it off again. It runs on 3 AA batteries. I usually buy 2 of everything, and I'm glad I did, because for some reason, one of the switches they sent me was dead. The other one had the little spacer in there. A lot of them have a little spacer that keeps the batteries from touching the switch until you get it. Right. And you pull that little and one of them didn't have it. So maybe somewhere at the factory it fell out, or someone accidentally pulled it out. But also someone had a very interesting idea in the reviews, is they put it down very low in the bedroom for their kids. The kids who can't reach the regular light switch but want to run in there to get a toy or run in there to get shoes or socks, they can just click this on, have it at their height. They'll certainly have enough light to see what they want to get, and then go out and shut it off. And I'm sure there's no great thing if you leave it on for hours, because LEDs tend to use very little battery power, but they are totally battery powered by 3 AA batteries.
Right. And not too bad.
And then there's another version that is just a glowing light. And that could be, I was going to say it could be a night light, but you don't want to leave it on all night. I just like the other thing, because the carb light, the chip on board lights, are super bright. So if you wanted to click on a light as you go into a room so you can find another switch that is not as convenient, this is great for that. It'll give you illumination, but it won't blind somebody. And they're both relatively inexpensive. Either version is 2 for $10, 2 for $9.99. And I like both of them.
Right, yeah. You know what this product really reminds me of? It's we had them all over, and we called them puck lights because they kind of look like hockey pucks, and you kind of touch them, press them, and they click on, and they're LED lights, and you kind of stuck them in places where you wanted light, but you didn't want to run electricity. And actually, I was looking for product pictures for today's show, and I found one of these lights, with the switches, one of these switch lights with the lights built in. Someone had stuck it like underneath their kitchen sink where they keep all of the all the cleaning supplies and whatnot. Yeah. And yeah, they need light down there to see what they're doing, and they just flick it on, and you have light underneath your sink. Yeah, one of those kind of things.
It's perfect. And one of them, I think it was the carb light, the chip on board, had the back of it had little magnets on it. So if you're in your kitchen and you have a metal cabinet, then just slam that up. So you can either put it on with a screw and then hang it on that. It comes with sticky back tape. You can use that. And the cob light came also with 2 magnets on the back. The one that just glowed a bit came with either tape or screw eyes, so you can hang it up.
All right.
But again, both were two for $9.99.
Yeah, not too expensive, and again, just kind of it really, to me, it seems like an iteration on the puck light. It's just another way to get light somewhere and make it convenient. I did like the kit idea, though. I can't tell you how many times I took my bedroom nightstand lamp and stuck it underneath the covers so that my parents wouldn't catch me reading late at night, and it got really, really hot. LEDs don't burn hot, so no. This is, for kids sneaking a good read in, this is for you, so take notice. So for everyone else, I know, and before you say anything, Bluetooth speakers, I know there's a billion of them out there, but let's hear Dick out on why he included yet another one, because I've heard you make that same assessment that,
absolutely.
Another speaker.
Another Bluetooth speaker. And this was a fan who wrote in and said, you have to buy the Hydrobeat illuminated shower speaker because it has a Bluetooth radio in it. It has a bright suction cup. And the reason he'd written this letter is my co-host on the Giz Wiz show had said that he, even though his phone is waterproof, he doesn't want to bring it in the shower, but he'd like to have audio books in the shower. And that
is a long shower.
Yes, that's right. So this one came with a suction cup in the back, and he said it was $40. Well, the thing is, the great thing about Amazon is under a gadget, often you can go to the bottom of the page and it'll say other gadgets like this. And very often the other gadgets like this is the exact same gadget under a different name. And that's because a lot of companies, and I know this from CES, you'll go and you'll see a new gadget and you'll go, I've never seen anything like that in my life. And then before the show ends, you've seen it 5 more times, the exact same gadget. And as long as you buy enough of them, they'll put your name on it. So he said I should be getting the Hydrobeat illuminated shower speaker. But I, for $7 less, bought the Bass Pal shower speaker. Does exactly the same thing. So it has LED lights that blink on and off. And after I got it and played with it, I realized they blink on and off just for fun. They're not pulsing to the music. But the sound is very decent for the price. And there was one, it had an FM radio in it. And if you watch the video on my website, we didn't want to get in the shower to do it, so we did it in the sink. And then just for laughs, I put it at the bottom of the sink and I turned the faucet on. And I mean, we actually put enough water in there that we drowned the speaker. And outside of the volume getting greatly reduced because of all the weight on the speaker, when we picked the speaker up and shook it and the water poured out, it was still playing. So it's shockproof, dustproof, built-in microphone, so hands-free speakerphone, 5 to 6 hours of playtime, powers off after 15 minutes, and the total price was $32.
Not too bad.
I thought that was really good.
And it has the added little benefit of looking like Iron Man's chest's, power generator.
Yes,
so
it does.
It's not too bad. And if you're watching the video portion of the show, we have the video up and running. And you are really, covering that thing in water. Nothing too complicated. And I can see why you said that, the lights kind of flicker on and off. They pulse, but not with the music, because...
Not with the music.
Right, because the ring and the circles do look like little equalizer, things that should bounce, but that's okay for $30. Not too bad.
No.
So, and so very, very cool. And I am a firm believer in Bluetooth speakers in the shower. We recently bought, well, not recently, it was like 2 years ago, a shower head that had a Bluetooth speaker built into the shower head.
Oh, nice.
It's awesome. I cannot recommend it enough. Do it, folks. You will never be sad at shower time again when you can play your favorite music. It's awesome. So, and Dick, I mean, you come on the show here. You have lots of awesome gadgets. There's a reason I'm pulling my hair right now. Fidget spinners. They are a cultural phenomena. They are annoying to a lot of people, and they took over the world in like a week, and then in 2 more weeks, everyone hated them. So, fidget spinners, what did you find? Obviously, there's going to be a tech spin to this, and give us your honest opinion. What do you think?
Okay. Well, the reason that I liked the fidget spinner that I bought was that it had LEDs in it. And there's a running gag on the Giz Wiz show that Dick will buy anything that has LEDs in it. And when I got this ad for now spinners with LEDs, I thought,
oh, you have it there with you.
Yeah, I just have to get one of these guys. And yeah, you're absolutely right. They're fun to spin, fun to show people. And so I did that for 2 days, and now the only reason I'm spinning it now is because I happen to have it laying on my desk. But if you watch the videos, the reason the phenomenon took off is that young people are making videos, throwing them in the air, putting 3 of them together and spinning them in different directions. And but like everything else, they suddenly, now you can buy them on street corners in any toy store. And I guess the novelty is wearing off fast. There's even another one that I found, and watching the YouTube video, I thought, wow, this is really a piece of crap. Is someone built one with LEDs and a speaker. Well, you can imagine the speaker quality when the whole device is this big, and the speaker has to share the LED in 1/3 of one of these spinners. I mean, it sounded awful, and I thought, well, there's something that anybody who buys is going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of these things. It really was a fad, and fads happen way faster than they used to. Things that took months or years to wear off now just take weeks. And fidget spinners, I'll admit, we're watching your video that you have up. They are flashy. They do draw the eye. I think that's kind of the opposite of what fidget spinners were supposed to do. I mean, they're silent. They're supposed to be, to improve concentration. But you're right. At this point, the kids were using it to do tricks and to just kind of show off to others and what they could do. Like it's even got to the point where I saw a fidget spinner cookie. Like someone made cookies out of or made fidget spinners out of cookies, and they actually spun. So that's when the trend is dying, is when you eat them.
Yes.
So well, not too bad.
Anyway, yeah, and they're cheap. I mean, I think they were $5 for the LED spinners. So
right,
if you want something that lights up and spins.
But and it's, obviously I think you already answered this by saying that the only reason you pick it up is because hey, it's around and it's right there. But the clinical reason that people claim to get fidget spinners is that it gives you something to do with your hands so that you improve your concentration. Did you ever find yourself using it for that? You needed to write something and you fidgeted?
No, I found that it made me annoyed. It made me annoyed that I couldn't because I bought 2 of them and I wanted to spin them in opposite directions, and I couldn't do what the kids were doing on the videos. Is press them together and get them spinning in opposite directions really fast because my finger kept hitting one or the other of them, so it became more an annoyance than a calming.
Yeah. Yeah, that dexterity, it's a weird thing. But all right, so fidget spinners to something that is, well, this is new and this is different. I mean, last month you came on the show. Obviously you didn't show everything, but I believe you because I remember things like the the baby. I just called it the baby tank, but it was the giant baby stroller. You went to like a baby show, and here you have another baby product. What are these?
Yeah, so this is. It's like K-cups for kids. It's kind of interesting is that Ness, which makes, I think it's Nescafé. Nespresso.
Yes, that's it.
It's the company. They make a machine like a Keurig machine to make coffee, and they got together with Gerber to make this baby Ness baby formula dispenser. And I thought it was intriguing because I saw this machine and then I saw all these cups. And then I said, is this caffeine for kids? What is this doing in a baby show? And she said, no, it makes what the company says is the closest formula to breast milk. And you buy the cups depending on the age of your child. Mm-hmm. The machine knows from the cup and the age, the temperature. And I thought also something that was very clever is that each cup had a built-in filter in it so that some moms wanted to use bottled water. Right. But if you didn't have that luxury, and you used water out of the sink, this cup would make sure it was filtered because the filter was built in. And it connected to your smartphone, and it would tell you when it was time to feed the baby, and it could reorder the cups as you needed them. Right. Now, the thing I never thought of but found out reading the reviews. First of all, people liked it a lot on Amazon, but a few people pointed out that if your kids, your babies require a lot of milk, it can be fiercely expensive. One woman estimated that it was more than $100 a month.
To use this machine or to
use it for the pods,
right?
To get enough milk for the pods, it was like $180 or something. I mean, I have no idea what it costs to feed a baby normally, but I noticed out of the 77 reviews, it got 3.9 stars, which I guess is equal to almost 80% of the people liked it. The machine itself is $199. And then the cups actually depend on the age that the baby is, because each age takes a different formula.
Right.
So very scientific.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a techie and you have money, this would be the way to go.
Yeah, and it's but both my brother and I were both formula babies, and it's one of those things that, I mean, it's kind of like the difference between brewing your own coffee and just brewing a cup of coffee, because it's a matter of convenience. You can't look at the price and say, oh, it's way more expensive than doing it manually or the old-fashioned way. It's convenience, plain and simple. You're paying for it, and it sounds like they have a lot of all that high-tech stuff that modern coffee makers have. So not bad. The price, the pods, all that good stuff, we can overlook that for
kids. It's like boats. Things for boats are very expensive. Things for kids are even more expensive.
Right. So, and the next one, I have never had to potty train anyone other than one of my dogs. I have never, or at least I don't remember being potty trained, but I can imagine that it should be easier nowadays with some gadgets and tech stuff. What do you have here? Because this looks kind of like that board game that you had the other day.
It does look like that. Yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah. Toilet trouble, I think it was called. This was very. I saw this and I said to Dennis, who does all the videos, I said, we have to stop here. What in the world is this miniature toilet? So the woman said it's called My Size Potty, and it's a very interesting idea. The idea is, why teach a kid to sit in a potty why not have a potty that looks exactly like the toilet that they'll grow up and start using? And so it is just a potty with a removable bowl, but it's a scaled down version of a regular toilet. And I said to the woman, what does the handle do? And she said, well, the handle makes sound effects of a flushing toilet. So they get used to the idea of using the toilet and then flushing it. And I thought it was a very clever idea.
Oh, the candy in the bowl.
Yes, I know. It's very funny.
Right.
It's very funny. And it's fairly reasonable. $27. It's on Amazon. And for some bizarre reason, the pink version there is $46. So it seems like some sort of discrimination to me, but the white one would be the one to go, because that's going to be most like what the kid graduates to, a white toilet.
But of course, you have to factor in the cost of ripping out your old toilet to install this thing, and then you can't use that back. No, it's standalone. So, so real quick, this next one, the Pop and Sit portable booster, because babies, they're very their heads are very big. They can't hold themselves up very well. So what is this?
So this is a fold-up portable booster. It's very clever. It goes in a little backpack, and it unfolds and it becomes a seat. And there's a little tray for dining on the go. So it's great for out in the patio. It comes with straps, so you can strap it onto a regular chair if you're going around. You don't have a high chair with you. This is like an intermediate high chair or eye chair on the go. Very reasonable, $28. And I'm going to jump ahead to the final thing because it was bizarre. The Fresco high chair. This is the high chair for a kid from being born to being 8 years old. It is so techie looking. It looks like something out of Star Trek.
Very modern, right?
Yeah. When the kid is a baby, it almost rolls flat, so it's like a bassinet. And then as the kid grows up, it starts to tilt forward. Then it tilts more forward, and they have add-ons. So there's an eating tray. It goes very high, 36 inches high. And the reason they gave me was you want your baby to be with you when you're sitting at like a breakfast bar. That is, you're sitting on stools, so it's much higher than a table. It is wildly expensive. I think it was started at $480, but you have to add at least $80 to $100 to it for the accessories. But it was really
it looks well engineered.
Well engineered, and the guys who invented it said that what they wanted to do is take everyday gadgets that haven't been rethought about in years, like a high chair, and just totally redo it. It has secret wheels underneath to move it around. It's just clever. The Fresco chrome high chair.
Right. Yeah. And just saw the video of it. It does look, it doesn't look bad. It looks very expensive. And, hey, it's one of those things that it's going to last you a number of years. So even though
8 years, yeah, that's what they're saying. It's a full 8 years from the time he's born to the kid is 8 years old.
So a high price tag, but at the same time, you're going to get a lot of use out of it. So, hey, invest in your kids, and hey, maybe your kids probably won't topple out of it like an egg. So with that being said, Dick, we are just about out of time. We have like a minute here left. If people want to find out more about what you're doing, I know that you're still doing Twit, you're still doing your TV show. What's going on with you? What's happening?
Let's see. So I do an hour gadget show every week, and that's at gizwiz.tv. Everything we talked about today is at gizwiz.biz. And I'm on with Leo Laporte at twit.tv. My next issue in my next article in Mad Magazine is things all the airlines are going to do to combat the bad press that they've gotten so far. For example, when they drag you off a plane, you're going to be dragged off on a clean blanket.
Oh, that was nice of them.
No more than one person, every airline, every day can be dragged off a flight. Things like that.
Right. No, very, very funny. And hey, everyone check that out, and be sure to check out everything that he's doing and keep up with him. And of course, keep up with us here at Computer America. So, Dick, thank you so much. We'll have you back on as always last Wednesday of the month, next month. See you then.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. And everyone out there, thank you for tuning in to Computer America. It's been a lot of fun. And be sure to tune in tomorrow as we have the man himself, Mr. Gary K. Tech 50 Plus, where we're going to be talking about, gadgets and stories and articles that are centered around, an aging populace, and technology can make life easier and better. So, again, everyone, catch you then. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Ten seconds.